Next up, one of the surprises of the 24 NFL season here, team that rised up probably better than any other team this past season here. The Washington Commanders. Let's go over our draft. I feel back. They're the one player that we got in the first round. We couldn't get like a jersey holding kind of picture there because I don't even think he went to the draft. I'm going to go in other words. I don't think he was even considered somebody that they thought about bringing because I don't think people thought he'd be a first round pick. I said that. Yes, I did. First round, pick 29. Josh Conerly Jr., offensive tackle out of Oregon. And guys, this was probably of all of the first round picks that the NFC East had. So there's 5 picks because the Giants had 2 and the other guys each had 1. This is probably my least favorite pick. I think it was a reach. So 6'4", 315 pounds, 21 years old from Seattle. The 21 Anthony Munoz Award for Best Offensive Lineman in high school. So he definitely was a guy that, has had some years of good tape in high school there, but goes to college and it's a little more up and down, I thought. 41 career games. This past season, 14 games, 78.3 PFF. Now, he was first-team All-American. I just disagree with the selection. I'm just calling it out there. Before someone says to me, oh, you think he was ups and downs. See, he was first-team All-American. Obviously, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I feel like that's what's going to be the comment now. I'm sorry. He was a great pass blocker, but he was not a good run blocker. And on top of that, he did not look good in the Senior Bowl. I talked to multiple people that went there and said point blank that he did not look good in the Senior Bowl. So, that's when you're literally playing against some of the best guys that are coming into that draft and you're having trouble. That's an issue.
Yeah. And I mean, to kind of piggyback off what you're saying there, like when you're talking about great pass rusher and you can't stop the run, I mean, they're playing Barkley twice a year who exploits guys like this. We know firsthand. We watched it. Wait, to their own horn, Tracy Jr. has been pretty well at doing the same thing. So, and the Cowboys are the Cowboys, but let's keep them out of the equation. But their faces are pretty solid running backs, and you can't stop the run.
No, offensive tackle. He can't run block. Can't stop the run.
Touche.
Go get your coffee.
Yeah, I actually need it. I've been up since 4.
Anyway.
Go see myself out. Adios.
No, but listen, guys, the big thing with him is he's a converted running back, ironically you say that, who went ahead and converted over to tackle only once he was in college there. He played almost entirely at left tackle as well, which is an interesting thing because keep in mind the Commanders made a big trade for one of their probably their biggest move of the offseason for Laremy Tunsil from the Houston Texans then. So he's a left tackle. You drafted a left tackle. Is this like the Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix move of the offensive line? Like just something doesn't quite make sense. So, I mean, I guess maybe they're going to move him to the right side, but again, he's never played that side. There's issues with that. On the goods, I don't want to be just all negative on this whole thing. Very athletic, good footwork, keeps the pocket clean, does also get to the second level, and gets under pads. The biggest issues, besides the run blocking issues that I have seen there with him when you watch the tape, got some balance issues. Also needs to add a lower body strength as well. It seems to not have that good solid anchor at times. We had a second round grade on him. So I'm a little shocked that he went first round. I thought like mid-second round was ready to go. I think it was a reach pick, personally. I think they just had in their head they had to go get an offensive tackle, had to get an offensive lineman, protect the quarterback, which I get because your quarterback's 170 pounds. Much respect to him, though. We were right. We said he was the best quarterback in that draft last year, but he is a little wee man, so you want to go ahead and make sure you keep him upright. Next up, probably their best. I gotta say, I think their best player they got this draft, even over their first round pick, which I know sounds weird. Trey Amos, cornerback out of Ole Miss. Also was in Alabama in 23. Also was in Louisiana from 20 to 22. So he's been with 3 different schools there. He's an outside corner, 6'1", 190 pounds, 23 years old, from New Iberia, Louisiana. This past year, 13 games, 50 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions, 13 passes deflected, and a forced fumble, an 85.6 PFF grade. First team All SEC. When you succeed at the SEC level as best of the best of the best, sir, then yeah, you've done something right. Great ball skills. He's quick. He's instinctive. He's a ball hawk. He's physical and has good press. He is a bad tackler, though. He has trouble getting off blocks, and he's also very bad in the run game. It's a round 2 grade we had on him. I think the issues with the getting off blocks, the physicalness, I think some of that is the fact he's 190 pounds. I think some of that can be fixed potentially with a little bit of work as far as some of the technique stuff. But in the end, let's be honest, every player has a flaw. And if your biggest flaw is you have trouble getting off blocks and helping out in the running game from the outside, let's be honest, the corners are the last line of defense. How many years we deal with Dory Jackson as a bad run defender? Just saying.
Yeah.
It's not really that big a deal to me. So yeah, like I said, this guy we scouted, we liked him. I think it's a good pickup for him. I really do. And I think he's a guy that, like I said, I think when it's all said and done, he'll be a better pickup for them than Josh Conerly is. All right. Next up.
Yeah.
Round 4, pick 128, Jalen Lane, wide receiver at Virginia Tech. Played there the last 2 years and played 3 years over at Middle Tennessee State, because Tennessee is so wide, there is no north and south. It's east, west, and middle. It's like you could drive that state in 15 minutes or 4 hours, depending on which direction you're going.
Yeah, that state.
It's a really weird state. Anyway, 5'10", 196 pounds, 22 years old. Ironically, again, as we're recording this on the 30th of April, tomorrow's his birthday. Happy birthday, turning 23 tomorrow. From Clover, South Carolina. Another guy we did not scout coming into this. And you know what the ironic thing is? So the Giants got one of their UDFAs was from Virginia Tech. And we put out a video that went out today. And one of the guys actually was like, oh, you clearly didn't watch the All-22. Their quarterback sucks. Okay. I wasn't scouting the quarterback. We're scouting the wide receiver. But here's another one that, quite frankly, didn't have a lot of stat-wise. So, you know, I get it. The quarterback sucked. But this year he put up 12 games, 38 catches, 466 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Rushed the ball 18 times for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. I can't sit there and say that's amazing, great, stats. Again, it's a 4th-round pick. It's not a 1st-round pick. I get it. The quarterback sucked. But
it's not the corner's fault.
But what I'm saying is I feel like this is a guy who, as a wide receiver, should have had better production to be a 4th-round pick than less than 500 yards. And that's what he's done regularly. 5 years, 54 games, 203 catches, 2,532 yards, 18 touchdowns. I think what their plan is just to use them kind of like we use Wandale. The little guy, you can move around. You can put him in the backfield sometimes, put him in the slot. Obviously, not to the degree of use that Wandale gets with the Giants. That kind of gadget player.
Yeah. The wide 4-5 kind of.
Yeah, and that's what he's going to be. He's going to be the guy you bring out, every so often for a weird trick play or something like that, and you just try to develop him overall while you're doing that. NFL Draft Buzz said, watching Lane's film reveals a receiver with a clear path to the NFL contribution through multiple avenues. He'll step in day one as a dynamic punt returner who attacks north-south with decisive vision and enough burst to threaten the end zone. When the offense breaks the huddle, Wayne's value lies in his versatility, a movable chess piece who creates matchup problems from the slot and offers genuine juice in catch and run scenarios. So yeah, listen, if you're going to use him as a weapon, and you're to use him as a punt returner, let's be honest, you're probably getting him more as a punt returner around 4 than you are as a weapon.
Yeah.
It just seems a little high to me to get a guy like that. So, but maybe they think of him more than other people do. It's not I'm going to bash them nonstop for taking him kind of high. It's not like they took Eric Gray because he could return kicks here. Oh, yeah, I said it. But, again, a little early, I think. Round 6, 205. Kane Medrano, linebacker, UCLA, 6'3", 222 pounds. 24 years old from Pueblo, Colorado. This past season, 12 games, 72 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, a sack and a half, which just sounds weird. A sack and a half. No, it's probably the only podcast can talk about that. 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, 4 passes deflected, a fumble recovery, 3 forced fumble, and a 71.7 PFF grade. He played for 6 years at UCLA, guys. 6 years. 50 games, 195 tackles, 22 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, 3 interceptions, 10 passes deflected, 2 fumble recoveries, and 5 forced fumbles. This is from 33rd Team. They said UCLA Bruins linebacker Kane Medrano projects as a special teams contributor at the NFL level with the upside of becoming a sub-package defender. He should be afforded the opportunity to stack more weight onto his frame in an effort to appeal for a more traditional linebacker role. He's been a frequent special teams contributor, which should serve as his fast track to playing time at the NFL level and afford him the opportunity to make a 53-man roster while working on his defensive profile. So, again, this is not a player that Rob and I scouted beforehand. I do feel like this is a guy, though, that you can go ahead and bring in, like they said, as a special teamer. That's what he specialized in for many years at UCLA. You bring him in as a special teamer, and you just try to see if you can develop him. Ain't nothing wrong with that in a 6th-round pick.
Not at all.
There are plenty of people that get drafted for just that exact need. So, got one more for the Commanders here, guys. And this is probably the most intriguing pick of theirs. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, running back out of Arizona. Now, he's also the guy who's played for 3 schools. This is like a theme of people that played for 3 schools coming from these draft classes here. Played for Arizona this past year, New Mexico in 23, and Alabama State from 19 to 22. 5'10", 206 pounds, 24 years old from Montgomery, Alabama. This past year, 1 game, 13 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown. Now, this is the weird part about it. It wasn't an injury, guys. When you hear 1 game, usually like, oh, it's got to be an injury or something, right? Nope. Eligibility issues. So they realized after he played a game, he wasn't actually eligible to play. So, yeah, 1 game and that's it. And he looked really good in that game for Arizona. And what's interesting is, again, Alabama State, New Mexico, but much smaller schools. So people weren't quite sure what to think of him. And he had the one opportunity to show at a better school, a bigger school, what he can do. And he did well. So 23 was the last full year. He was over at New Mexico. So again, obviously not playing the top of as far as competition here. 12 games, 189 carries, 1,190 yards, 6.3 yards per carry, 17 touchdowns. It's a lot of touchdowns. 7 catches, 72 yards, and a touchdown. So not much in the receiving end, but that's a hell of a running there, going 17 touchdowns in 12 games. He also was able to play in the East-West Shrine Bowl this year after the season ended. So that's the last time, only 1 or 2 times, I should say, we've seen him play all year. 11 carries, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns, and named MVP. So that's a pretty impressive showing at a game that probably, let's be frank, probably meant more to him than any other prospect at the draft because no one saw him all year.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. He looked really good in the 1 game for Arizona. Now he goes to the 1 chance he has that he plays. Again, all guys are going to be drafted. So a much better competition level than he usually ever faces. And he still excelled to the point where he was the MVP of the game. The Draft Network said his downhill attacking style will mesh well in inside zone and gap rushing offenses that look to get upfield quickly. However, his limitations on third down and as an overall athlete cap his ceiling in the NFL. He has upside as a first and second down change of pace back with an offensive line that can keep him clean behind the line of scrimmage. So again, this is not a guy that I'm expecting to be, every so often get that day 3 back that like blows it out of the water and just like crushes it. I'm not saying he's that, but I do think he's a legitimate NFL contributor. Like I do think he can be part of a running back system.
Yeah, this guy you probably could have got, and no one would question it, like 6th round.
Yeah, I mean, there's people. I'll be very frank that, again, I'm not sitting there scouting for hours, guys. That we didn't scout the drafts over that the Giants are going to get. This is the one guy I was like, let me watch the tape on this kid. Like, let me really like scout him like we're scouting a player that we're looking at as a potential Giant. His tape was good, guys. His tape was good. And I'm actually very intrigued by him. Now, keep in mind, we were also very intrigued by Turbo Miller last year, who didn't even get a chance to play because obviously the Giants didn't see enough of him to warrant playtime. So I'm not going to sit there and say that we have a perfect record here. And again, a 7th round pick is what I'm saying, contributor. Like I'm not sitting there saying he's going to be a guy who get 1,000 yards in a season here. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
but I think there's a place for him in the NFL. I do think there's a place for him. They projected him actually as a day 3 prospect on the Draft Network as well. So again, he got drafted where he should have been, basically based on what you've seen. So overall in the Commanders, again, I don't like their first pick. I like their second pick. Don't like their third pick. And just kind of,
it's kind of like
2 of the picks. So
probably like a C+.
Yeah.
Like
I would give them a C+ because I really just disliked the first pick overall that much.
Yeah.
Now, if he balls out and we're wrong, then yeah, this draft looks so much better. It's not even funny. But when you only have 2 picks in the first 2 days, and your top pick is one you reach for, it's gonna really affect your grade with us.
Yeah, and it's almost like they felt like they didn't have a chance at 61, which they may have. So it's
I don't know. I mean, I would have questioned it less if Trey Amos was the first round pick for them. I really would have, which is the scary part.
Yeah.
So
if you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you.